And that is simply because the other modus operandi or method that I've found that actually works actually comes from the Bible. And in that, there's a quote or phrase that pretty much everybody has heard, even if you just watch the Jerry Maguire film, and that is, "The truth shall set you free." Okay? In that film, he says, you can't handle the truth, and that's true for most people. So you have to be actually able, not only want to, but willing and able to handle the truth. And sometimes the truth is uncomfortable. However, what I found in doing the research on myself and other clients is that when we find the truth, number one, it's freeing. So that's how the deprogramming happens, simply by seeing the truth. And to see the truth, we have to go into our life, wherever that may lead, starting with whatever we are experiencing in the present that is uncomfortable. So we identify that, and then we go into when it's happened before, right? And there's typically scenes that it has happened before, moments where it has happened before. And so we go backwards in time until we find the first time that it happened. And that can be in this lifetime. I mean, just for mine, around my birth, there was about four main traumatic events, programs that happened within the realm of, say, 2 hours, right? So I kept going back to that. Didn't mean that I didn't get it. I had to access 4 individual programs that were created via the trauma that I experienced around that birth process. So I can tell you about my birth because I've been there and I've seen the truth of it. But the general consensus in normie land is that you cannot, we need to coin that term, is that you cannot access before 5 years old, which is complete BS, because you can. It's just that there's traumas that create this, single-celled organism knee-jerk response where we move away from pain and towards pleasure, right? So if we allow our bodies to govern our lives, we will move away from pain and towards pleasure. A single-celled organism can do that. So we have to do something a little bit higher, right? Use the other faculties that we have that the normies will say don't exist, which is spirituality. Well, what is spirituality? Again, we can get into that topic, which is simply paying attention to the non-physical, okay? If you have emotions, that's non-physical. There's also a physiological response that's created as a result of those emotions, but that's not what's creating the response, okay? So the emotions are one of those things that anybody can believe in if they're just starting to access what it means to be spiritual. What it means to be spiritual is simply paying attention to the non-physical, okay? That's it. And that'll lead you down a whole rabbit hole. Anybody can do it.
Yeah, so that's an interesting topic, because I think everybody, whether they believe it or not, to ask the question, are you spiritual or not? It's a silly question.
Yeah.
Everybody is a spiritual being having a human experience.
Yeah.
And to debate whether or not you're spiritual is simply to just ignore the spiritual aspects of your life. So if you really look within, if you really look at everything that's going on in your life, there's spiritual events and a spiritual answer and solution to every single problem that you have. And so I think we get to a point where we're numbed down so far on a level of consciousness that we look at these clues and we look at these signs that are quite literally the guiding path, and we just ignore them and we just think they're coincidences, they're accidents. So,
well, there's a reason why everything happens.